We've arrived at the final pillar of Sun Tzu's five constant factors. While the way is the soul of an army, organization is the body. Without a skeleton of hierarchy and a nervous system of logistics, an army is just a disorganized crowd waiting to be defeated. Today, we break down the three sub-factors of organization, using the ongoing conflict in Ukraine as our lens. Number 1. Organization. A roster of tasks. Sun Tzu says every soldier must know where to be and what to do. This isn't just about showing up, it's about specialization. In the Russia-Ukraine war, we see this in the use of drone operators. In a well-organized unit, the pilot isn't just a soldier with a gadget. They have a specific station, a roster of tasks, scouting, correcting artillery, or strike missions, and a clear boundary of what not to do. When this breaks down, as we've seen in some rushed mobilizations, soldiers wander aimlessly, becoming easy targets because they lack a station and a position. 2. Chain of command. The protocol of information. A defined military hierarchy ensures that when things go wrong, the right person hears about it instantly. For example, in the early 2022 invasion, the Russian command structure was famously top-heavy. Decisions often had to go all the way up to Moscow and back down. This lack of flexible chain of command led to the deaths of several high-ranking generals who had to move to the front of the lines just to get an update. On the other hand, Ukraine adopted mission command, a protocol where lower-level officers are given an objective but are allowed to decide the how. Every soldier knew exactly who to consult to resolve an issue, making them faster and more lethal. 3. Logistics. The flow of life. Sun Tzu is obsessed with logistics. He knows that a soldier without a meal is a soldier who won't fight. Think of the great stalling of the Russian convoy headed for Ukraine. The logistics failed. Fuel didn't flow, food rations were expired, and tires weren't maintained. In contrast, the rapid Western supply chains, moving HIMARS rockets and Leopard tanks across borders and directly into the stations where they would be needed, shows the power of proper procedures for obtaining and storing equipment. Sun Tzu concludes that by asking 7 questions, we can predict the winner before a single shot is fired. Let's look at 2 critical ones in the context of Ukraine. On which side is the discipline more rigorously enforced? This isn't about cruelty, it's about consistency. In which army is there a greater consistency in reward and punishment? In modern warfare, reward isn't just a medal. It's the promise that if you are wounded, your organization has a system to evacuate you. If a soldier knows that medevac protocol is broken, their morale breaks too. Sun Tzu's war tip is simple. An encampment must be regulated. Whether it's a trench in the Donbass or a corporate office, the protocol for all stations is what prevents panic. Sun Tzu is blunt here. A general who ignores these organizational rules should be dismissed. A general who masters them and remains flexible enough to modify plans when circumstances change will conquer. As you look at your own projects, ask yourself, do my people know where to be? Does my information flow? Do my supplies arrive? If not, you aren't leading an organization, you are managing a disaster. We have now discussed the final of the 5 constant factors. We have seen that organization isn't just about paperwork. It is the physical manifestation of a leader's strategy. As we conclude this lesson, let's look at the current state of the Russia-Ukraine war in 2026 to see these principles in their most brutal modern form. Remember the three gears we discussed. 1. Organization, the parts. By 2026, the battlefield has become transparent due to drones. Ukraine has mastered the detailed roster of tasks by implementing AI-enabled drone units into every level of the army. Every soldier knows their station, whether they are a pilot, a technician, or a signal jammer. When everyone knows where they should not go to avoid being spotted by thermal sensors, the army survives. 2. Chain of command, the signal. We've seen the 7 searching questions in action. On the side where discipline is more rigorously enforced through trust rather than fear, information flows faster. Ukraine's shift towards NATO-style decentralization allows a sergeant on the ground to call a strike in minutes. In contrast, rigid hierarchies often find their signals jammed by bureaucracy before they even reach the general. 3. Logistics, the lifeblood. As of early 2026, the war has become a contest of supply chain resilience. Russia has focused on a war economy to maintain their flow of equipment, but they face constant interdiction, strikes on their railway junctions and supply depots. Sun Tzu's warning is clear. If the flow of food and ammunition is not reliable, the stronger army on paper will eventually hollow out from within. Sun Tzu told us, by means of these 7 considerations, I can forecast victory or defeat. In 2026, when we ask, which army is more highly trained, or in which army is there a greater consistency in reward and punishment, we aren't just looking at medals. We look at whose logistics can replace a lost drone in 24 hours, and whose chain of command listens when a soldier reports a flaw in the defense. The general who listens to this counsel and modifies their plans based on these organizational realities will conquer. The one who ignores the flow of supplies or the clarity of tasks is already defeated. They just don't know it yet.